The canal was in complete dereliction at that stage in the early 1970s. The lock gates had rotted away. Dr. Ian Bath called a meeting in Blanchardstown in 1974, and he got a group of people together who started work on restoring the canal. A number of groups started work at various points along the canal, which was 90 miles long. So at 5-6 points, groups started working, and these groups eventually came together and joined the RCAG to form one group which stretched from the Shannon to the Liffey. Most of the early work was involved with cutting trees, bushes which had grown up along the canal, pulling out old gates and trying to reclaim the ironwork from them, and generally establishing a kind of levels of water in areas where you could navigate. It seemed unrealistic at the time, but they were dreaming of a day when you could actually go from one end of the canal to the other. And that, in the early days, seemed almost impossible because there were so many obstacles, huge number of obstacles. Bridges had been built across the canal, farmers had taken over the land, so it was quite difficult to see how this would be done. But they kept at it, and gradually bit became joined to other bit, and eventually then there was fairly reasonable length of canal restored. People who were involved initially in RCAG in the founding were very dedicated people. They stuck with their task, and I admire them greatly, even though I didn't join them a lot of the time. But eventually I did become involved in the late 80s with the man who ran the organization at the time, Eddie Slane. He was a very charismatic figure. He was a great fundraiser, and he was the kind of man who would go to anywhere. He could have been a politician and rouse up people and get them working. And his energy and enthusiasm really brought me into RCAG. The RCAG was founded in 1974, which is well over 40 years ago now, and it's been one of the great success stories of volunteerism in Ireland. People became committed to a project, saw it through, took a long time, took 36 years to get the job done, but they stuck with it and achieved their objective, which was to restore a canal, 90 miles of canal.
Leave that somewhere safe.
Myself and a friend were in Tullamore about 20 years ago, and we saw this boat in derelict condition in a yard. We put an offer on it and we bought it. But when we took it back, we discovered that it needed a new boiler, it needed the engine to be unseized, and that became our project for about 2 years. So we got it up and running, we got it out on the water, and we had great fun with it over the years, because it is something unique. It's probably the only steam launch in Ireland.